Okay. All right. So quickly, microbiology. Okay. Microbe. Winifred, I'll talk to you later. Based on what you said, you told me that was why I didn't give you a number. I'll talk to you later. So quickly, microbiology. So this discipline is actually a basic sciences discipline that deals with the microbes that exist with us in nature, the ones we can't see with our eyes. So the viruses, the bacteria, the funguses, and then or the fungi, and then the parasites. So they exist with us, and then they can actually be pathogenic. So we are not going to study all the microbes available. No, we are going to study those which actually have pathogenicity, virulence, the fact that they can actually cause diseases in humans. That is why we are interested in them. Okay, so like I said, we are going to talk about bacteria, fungi, viruses, and then parasites. But of course, not everything. We are going to look at the things I feel you should know for the exam based on my education and based on some recalls I've seen, and then how they think. So we are going to start with bacteriology. So bacteriology is the section of basic sciences that deals with the study of the bacteria that exists with us in nature. Bacteriology. And just like Aristotle did, it is important to classify everything you see, because if you don't classify, it makes the learning very, very, very difficult. Once you see somebody, you need to classify the person. You see, just like Adam did. Adam was the first taxonomist. Okay, he sees something, he calls it a cat. He sees something, he calls it a dog. But he sees Eve and says that no, this is not a cat, this is not a dog. This is actually bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Because I had a dream that she was taken out of me. If there were no dream, so he would never say that, for he was taken out of woman. The first one to dream, the first one to classify. And so it is very important for us to classify bacteria. Anything we see, we need to classify, or else learning will be very difficult. So our very first assignment in bacteriology is to classify them based on their gram staining abilities. Now gram staining ability, I should be able to tell you that not all the bacteria actually stain well with gram stain, and so they don't fall here. A very good example is chlamydia. But majority of them either stain positively or negatively. So we are going to use that. So first assignment, we need to know who are gram positives. So bacteria can actually be classified based on the ability to stain, to pick up the gram stain, or to reject the gram stain. Okay, so if they pick up the gram stain, they are called gram positive. If they don't pick up the gram stain, okay, they are called gram negative. And as you would get to know, or like I should mention to you, the reason why gram positives are able to pick up the gram stain is because of their cell wall. Because of their thick cell wall, they are able to pick up the gram stain better than the gram negatives. It doesn't mean, though, that the gram negatives do not have the peptidoglycan cell wall. So the first thing I want to tell you is that the bacterial cell wall is made up of a glycoprotein. Glycoprotein means that it's made up of what? A carbohydrate and a protein. And that glycoprotein is called peptidoglycan. But the difference one of the differences between gram positive and gram negs is that gram positives have a thicker cell wall compared to gram negs. So as a result of their thicker cell wall, they are able to pick up the gram stain and hence are gram positives compared to the gram negs. So classification of bacteria based on the ability to pick up solidly or weakly pick up gram stain. Clear? So based on that, we can actually classify them into gram pos, gram negs. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, sometimes in the exam, they will not actually, and you've seen that in some of my test most questions. Instead of saying that maybe a microscopy picked up a gram positive rod, I say on microscopy, the microbiologist saw some chains of bacterium which looked purple on light microscopy. So you are supposed to be, or you should be able to say that whenever you see purplish stained bacterium, gram pulses would actually be purple or violet or blue, okay? So I'm drawing your mind, your attention to something. They might not make you happy by stating gram-positive, then just go and look, okay, which of them is gram-positive? No. You may be required to know how gram-pos actually look on microscopy to be able to say that, okay, I saw purples, so I think this is a gram-positive bacterium. Gram-negs would look pinkish, the weakly stained, pinkish or reddish. But like I said, there are some bacteria who do not have any gram characteristics. You can neither classify them as gram-pos or gram-negs. They are like the transgenders. Okay, good. So that is based on gram stain. Now, based on their shapes, so these two things. I mean, there are a lot of parameters to classify bacteria, but based on their shapes and then their gram staining ability, we are going to learn how to classify bacteria. So a bacterium, there are many shapes, but a bacterium can be rod-like or can be spherical or can be a whole lot, comma. And June 2023, GMDC exam, the first time it was written, they gave a very simple, basic question. A child came with gastroenteritis and stool RE revealed comma-shaped bacterium. Which of the following is most likely the cause of the gastroenteritis? Traditionally, when you see a comma-shaped bacterium, what bacterium actually comes to your mind? Traditionally. Vibrio or Vibrio, okay? Vibrio cholerae. All right, so this is to say that, you see how they put the question. So there was another question that said that a child came with an infection and then they picked up a gram-positive rod. A gram-positive, so they've combined the gram stain ability with its shape. What is it likely to be? Then they give you example, options to choose from. So that is the first duty. Taxonomy or bacteriology, taxonomy in bacteriology. Okay, so now that we've gotten the principle, let me give you my popular table. So the mnemonic. So I'm going to draw. So this was a table I personally developed for your predecessors. I wouldn't call them your seniors, but your predecessors. Okay, good. So I say that put the shape here. So they can be rods or cones, rods or sphericals. The rods sometimes, or the sphericals are sometimes called cocos or cocci. So cocos are the spheres, okay? They look circular, rounded. Then the rods are so let me put that. Cocos or cocci, those are spherical. Then the rods are the bacilli, so bacillus, bacilli. So those are the rods. And then put gram positive. So I'm going to put purple, gram positive. So put gram positive. And I'm going to put, what should I put here? Maybe red, gram negative. So draw your table, the shapes here in the column, and then the gram staining ability, the row. So row, column. Column is a shape like this. And I'm telling you that I'm going to develop a mnemonic. The mnemonic says SPSP. SPSP. So here put SPSP. Okay, good. So those here are gram positive cocci. Please, are you appreciating it? Gram positive cocci.
Yes,
those here are gram negative cocci. Of course, those here will be gram positive rods. Those here will be gram negative what? Rods. Is that okay?
Yes, Doc.
Good. So I'm going to tell you that the first S, you can guess what it is. Staphylococcus. Staphylococcus. So Staphylococcus. Wow. Ebisa say, which of the following are rods now? Yeah, they kind of say Staphylococcus. Coccus now go to sue. Staphylococcus. Ebisa say, which of the following are rods? Which of the following are rods? Rods, bacilli. A. Staphylococcus. Now, Obia go to Staphylococcus. Yes, Babekobi. So, Staphylococcus. Of course, the anaerobic form of this is actually Peptococcus. So basically here I say that it is the the cocci with their anaerobic form. So Staphylococcus is the aerobic form. Peptococcus is the anaerobic form of Staphylococcus. So the S definitely will be what? Streptococcus. And its anaerobic form is going to be Peptostreptococcus. Won't mean who coccus and coccus a rod. May be out. So what is spin test crime about when you can't see coccus and go and shade rod. As I want to shade the rod now, you see that I'll actually appear in the chat box with a knock. You can't see coccus and go and choose rods. You don't do that here. Okay. Then here, what do you put there? I tell you that as far as this mnemonic and this exam is concerned, there are only 2 gram-negative cocci. There are only 2 gram-negative cocci. There are, repeat after me, there are only 2 gram-negative cocci. Go.
There are only 2 gram-negative cocci.
Non so kebi. There are only 2 gram-negative cocci.
There are only 2 gram-negative cocci.
Yes, the 2 gram-negative cocci are Neisseria and Haemophilus. Which of the following is a gram-negative, or someone had an infection and microscopy revealed spherical bacteria which look pink on microscopy? What is the most likely cause of the infection? Look for Neisseria, choose. Look for Haemophilus, choose. There are only 2 gram-negative cocci. Now you come to this place, and the mnemonic I give here is be careful, little cat. Be careful, little cat. BCLC. If you remember your lecture on hepatoma, there is a staging system called Barcelona Clinic Liver Cancer Staging, BCLC. But I don't think I BCLC now. Be careful, little cat. Okay. So what does B stand for? B stands for Bacillus. So there is a bacteria called Bacillus, like Bacillus cereus. So that table you bet me generate 10 questions. We say 10, 20 questions from this table alone. I'm telling you. At least 20 questions from this table. We just give a clinical scenario. Someone went to this, went to a party and then had food poisoning within 6 hours. What kind of food? Bacillus cereus. What does C stand for? Corynebacterium. Corynebacterium. Okay, Corynebacterium now I know 1.8 million naira. Corynebacterium. What does the L stand for? And this is where the answer was. June 2023. A child had an infection, almost say microscopy revealed gram-positive rod. What was the cause of the infection? Now answer name Listeria. Listeria monocytogenes. C for Clostridium. Perfringens, Clostridium tetani. Clostridium, the genus Clostridium. Into be careful, little cat. Into SPSP, then there are only 2 gram-negative cocci. And then you come here and say, be careful, little cat. I say, who drew her? those of you who understand GAN, you say chinalo, okay? Nenchinam. All those who don't belong to this, they fall here. So chinalo, okay? Nenchinam, nenchinam. All others. Into one sir, draw table, obienihano, staphylococcus present say, Neisseria present madam, bacillus present say, natural say, E. coli and Acephalus pseudomonas, no be ashaha. Okay? Chinalo, everybody falls here. If you don't fall here, you don't fall here, you are here. Okay?
Yes, Doc.
Is that okay?
Yes, Doc.
Exactly. So you can actually keep this in your head and you can drill yourself. So, okay, I am a bacterium. I'm actually gram-negative and I'm spherical in nature. Who am I? Neisseria Haemophilus. I say, hey, now I do now we know Babasa. It's we know Babasa table now. Why Baba? Okay. Now I need to actually distinguish between staph and I mean strep. Based on, I'm not going to go into so much detail. I mean, there are questions that actually ask about that. I'm not going to go into so much detail, but I'm going to tell you that all those staph and strep. So I can give you a question like a 19-year-old, or no, that's too young. I would say maybe a 65-year-old type 2 diabetic presents with a right leg swelling associated with discharging blisters. Okay, samples were taken for gram staining. The on light microscopy, there was a gram positive or purplish staining spherical bacteria. What is it likely to be? It can be staphylococcus, it could be strep. That is the truth on gram stain, because all of them are gram positive, all of them are cocci. So how do you differentiate between them? Staphylococcus occur in clusters of grapes like this. Okay, I'm not saying no. They understand each other. Okay, they bond together. They bond together. Staph, no. Strep, it exists in chains. So if I set a question for you and I tell you that someone came with cellulitis, I picked the sample for microscopy. I found gram-positive cocci occurring in chains. What is the most likely diagnosis? You better choose streptococcus. Ukofa chinalo na mebo. Chinalo de oni hase. Iti chinalo no or a gram-negative then rod. Iti which of the following are all the following bacteria are gram-negative rods except Escherichia coli or a gram-negative rod. Proteosa or B, Campylobacter or Bia, Salmonella, and also sa Yersinia, the subite sa, OBS might sa, only hasea, usbite say. So streptococcus would occur in chains, staphylococcus would occur in clusters. Yo, Ebusia. So having established this taxonomy, I think I am now okay to go to question 1. Can I?
Yes, Doc.
Yes, Doc.
Yes,
okay. We're on the battlefield. Menda, if I'm not sleeping, you can't sleep.